Okay, today we are going to tackle a really persistent, really frustrating problem with a solution that is surprisingly simple. It all comes down to something you're doing right now: breathing.
So, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like you're just fighting a losing battle with bad breath? You know, you brush, you floss, you're doing all the right things, but that smell just won't go away. It is so frustrating, and if that sounds like you, trust me, you are not alone.
Well, the problem might not actually be your teeth or gums at all. See, the real culprit could be hiding way in the back of your throat. We're talking about tonsil stones, and they are often the secret cause behind this whole issue. So, what in the world are these things? Well, think of your tonsils. They have all these little nooks and crannies. Their job is to trap germs, but sometimes they also trap tiny bits of food and bacteria. And over time, all that gunk hardens into these small, really foul-smelling deposits called tonsil stones. And they are the source of that super potent, really hard-to-beat bad breath.
And if you've ever had these, you know the drill. You've probably tried everything you can think of to get rid of them. You might get a little temporary relief, but then, a few days or maybe a few weeks later, you feel that familiar little thing in your throat, and you just know they're back again.
Yeah, the common treatments, they're a perfect example of this frustrating cycle. Gargling, it helps a little, sure, but it doesn't get to the root of the problem. Trying to manually dig them out, well, that can be super uncomfortable, not to mention risky. And people even go for drastic measures like antibiotics or getting their tonsils taken out completely, and it's still not a guarantee.
And get this quote from our source material just blows my mind. It says that even after surgery, after a tonsillectomy, some people find that the stones can actually reform in the tissue nearby. That right there tells you that just removing them isn't fixing the real underlying issue.
So, what if we've been looking at this completely backwards? Instead of always trying to remove the stones, what if we could change the very environment in your throat that lets them grow in the first place? What if you could literally use your own body to stop them from ever forming?
And that brings us to the core of this whole thing, the breathing solution. This is where we get into how you can harness your body's own power to fix this. We're not talking about tools or surgery. We're talking about using your breath to create a place where tonsil stones just can't survive.
The secret is, well, it's almost ridiculously simple. By consciously changing the way you breathe, you can literally create a steady, cleansing airflow right over your tonsils. This airflow helps push out any stones that are already there, and more importantly, it stops new gunk from ever settling in and starting the process all over again.
Okay, so theory is great, but how do you actually do it? This next part is your daily action plan. We're going to walk through the exact steps you can start taking, like today, to get some real, lasting results.
All right, the cornerstone of all this is a technique called the Buteyko method. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Here's how it works. You hold your breath, right? This lets carbon dioxide build up a little in your blood. That's a natural signal for your body to open up your airways. So when you finally let go and breathe slowly through your nose, you get this really focused, powerful airflow that helps clear out everything around your tonsils.
Now the key here is consistency. You've got to make it a habit. The recommendation is to practice this 3 times a day. Do it right when you wake up to clear things out, do it before you exercise to open up your airways, and do it right before bed. Our source even says it can help you fall asleep faster, so that's a nice little bonus.
And you can totally supercharge your results by doing this while you work out. Next time you're on a walk or a run, just make a real effort to keep your mouth shut and breathe only through your nose. Your breathing rate is naturally higher, so you're forcing these powerful streams of air through your nasal passages. And here's the pro tip. Gently turn your head toward the side where the stones usually form. You're literally directing that cleansing air right where you need it most.
And you can support all this with a few other small habits. Drink water after every meal, it's a simple flush. Try tilting your head a bit toward the problem side when you sleep to keep that airway open. When you gargle with salt water, tilt your head from side to side to really get into those crevices. And, gently clearing your throat can sometimes be enough to nudge a loose stone out.
Okay, so you've got the main routine down. Now let's look at a couple of bonus tips from the source material that can really help speed things up and make those breathing exercises even more effective.
Believe it or not, yoga can be a huge help. The rabbit pose, for example, is awesome because it physically opens up the channels around your tonsils, making it way easier for that cleansing air to get in there. And then there's the lion pose. You basically stick your tongue out and forcefully exhale with a ha sound. Yeah, it looks a little silly, but it is incredibly good at clearing out any trapped, stale air from your whole respiratory system.
And hey, don't forget to fight this from the inside out. Just eating some yogurt with active probiotics once a week can make a difference. You're introducing good bacteria into your system, and those little guys can help fight and break down the colonies of bad bacteria that make up the tonsil stones. We've covered a lot of different techniques here, but if you only remember one single thing from this entire explainer, please let it be what's coming up next. This is the foundation that makes everything else actually work. This is it. This is the whole ballgame. Close your mouth and breathe through your nose. It's that simple, but it is so powerful. See, breathing through your mouth creates this dry, stagnant environment where bacteria just love to party. But breathing through your nose, it naturally filters the air, it humidifies it, and it creates that constant, gentle, cleansing airflow your tonsils have been begging for. And if you're still a little skeptical, listen to this. The source material tells this fantastic story about someone who had a severe, chronic case. They'd tried everything. They were finally completely cured after a year of meditation taught them one fundamental skill: how to breathe correctly, just in and out, through the nose. That one single change solved the entire problem for them.
And that really just leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? In a world that's always selling us complex treatments and quick-fix gadgets, we tend to forget about the basics. But as we've just seen, maybe mastering something as simple as your own breath is the most powerful solution there is. So could the key to fixing this incredibly stubborn problem really be that simple? Well, there's only one way to find out.